Hi, everybody. Hey, Westleg here. Just got off of work, just got home, ready to break out for the weekend. Just got cleaned up, but I've got something I want to share with you that I'm really excited about. I've got an opportunity to bring somebody on live here in a few moments from Dallas, Texas. I met this person here just a few short months ago, but I heard her story on a Facebook Live, and it really touched my heart, brought tears to my eyes, and my mission right now is to touch as many people as I can with these stories, because this story is really gut-wrenching, really touched my heart, an incredible story, and I'll bring her on here in just a little bit. But before I do, I want to take a few moments to share something with you, something that's changed my life. I don't know if you've noticed, I've been real active on Facebook, real active and energetic in life in general as I've got more energy. I started taking this product. It's called XM Plus. XM Plus contains Moringa oleifera. Perhaps you've seen one of my posts or seen a couple of posts that I put on Facebook. If you ever get the time to do some research on Moringa oleifera, I highly suggest you do so. It's truly an incredible product. This product is 100% natural. There are no fillers, there's no synthetics. But I got turned on to this about 2 years ago. I went to an umpire camp in Indianapolis, Indiana with my best friend. And my best friend had been using this product for about 6 months, maybe, I don't even know how long it was he'd been using it. But he'd been trying to get me to try it. Well, I'd never heard of it before, for one. For two, I'd never seen it on TV or seen it on the store, so I was quite the skeptic. And naturally, I don't know about you, but I've had the wool pull over my eyes more than one time. So, no, I'm not interested, Ron. I told him I just continue to use my calorie counter, and watch what I eat. And I really was. I had taken some educational classes on how to eat and what to eat in order to lose, because I was trying to get rid of my belly fat, right? Well, my beer belly. Fast forward a year later, all right? A year later, last July, I go to the same camp with the same guy in the same car, and, we're getting ready, dressed up to go out and umpire these ball games, and I look over at Ron, and it's like, oh my gosh. Ron, I said, what the hell are you doing? He says, Wes, I've been trying to tell you, you need to use this product. No, I'm serious, Wes. And you look, well, I'm still not interested, right? He had told me about Moringa oleifera and the power of it and all this. We go back into the classroom and we sit down during one of the classroom sessions and we have a breakout or break. And one of the lead clinicians pulls me to the side and he says, Wes, you got your phone? I said, yeah, I got my phone. He says, pull it out real quick. So I pulled it out. He says, ask Google what the most nutritious plant in the world is. All right, I'm game. I don't know what he's up to. Come to find out later, this guy's been drinking the same stuff too, right? So I say, okay, Google, what's the most nutritious plant in the world? Boom. Moringa oleifera. It starts naming off Moringa oleifera and where it's from, and it gives a list of websites a mile long. I said, okay, they're all looking at me because I think I was the only one in that room of umpires that wasn't drinking this stuff, right? So I get home, I go to a reputable website, what I consider to be a reputable website, called PubMed, PUBMED.gov. It's a government website where they do a lot of research. I pull that up and I start reading through things. The one that really intrigued me the most and I was most concerned about was that concerning dementia and Alzheimer's. Many of you know my dad, but my grandfather passed away in his late 80s with dementia. And Grandpa, I tell you, if you've never experienced anyone going through dementia and Alzheimer's, it's unlike anything you'll ever experience. I lost my one grandfather to cancer, but Alzheimer's just totally debilitates a person. They don't know who they are. They can't talk to you. All right, I won't go into any more details. But grandfather passed away in his late 80s. Dad was always concerned about getting it. My dad got it when he was in his mid-70s, and thank God Dad didn't dwindle along too long, and I mean that in a nice way because it really is hard on a family. It was really hard on my stepmother. So Dad passes away, and hi, everybody. I'm sorry, I'm not very good at these comments, right? Hi, Vikki. Vicki's going to be coming on here in a little bit. So, geez, what did I just do? Anyhow, Dad had done everything he could do to try to prevent that from coming on to him as well, and well, it just didn't work out. So now I want to do whatever I can do to prevent this from happening to me. Well, I'm on this PubMed.gov site, and I type in the search bar dementia, Alzheimer's, Moringa oleifera, And they've been doing a lot of research. Of course, I don't know that it's been done with people, individuals, but they've got some positive feedback on testing and done with lab rats and mice, because the antioxidants, there's over 40 some natural antioxidants in this Moringa oleifera. So I'm sold. I'm going to start using it. So I start using this product in August of last year. Guys, I'm not lying when I tell you within 5 weeks, my weight went from 215 down to $195. I mean, 20 pounds just like that. I am down. I fluctuate now between 185 and 195. I've been using this since August of last year, like I said. I'm going to go out and have beer and pizza with my boys tonight as soon as we get done with this. I still have my ice cream at night, right? Not every night, but I still occasionally eat my ice cream. And I still have my box of Cheetos waiting for me when I get home from work. So I really haven't changed my lifestyle and the way I eat and the food I eat. And I'm still maintaining anywhere from, it fluctuates, 185 to 190. That really hit me. I was really excited about the weight loss. My beer belly kind of faded away. But I'm not here to be a salesman. I'm sharing with you guys because it really touches my heart how this product has helped so many people. And when I bring Vikki on here in a few minutes and she shares her story when I seen it a couple weeks ago brought tears to my eyes. It's that touching. In addition to losing the weight, one of the other things that really touched me, and I seen it right away, I'd only been using the product for 4 weeks. I started using it in August. We have to do health risk assessments at work. I went in to do my blood draw, my lab blood draw. I take the results to my doctor, and for the first time in the last 5 years they've been doing these health risk assessment, my cholesterol is down below 200. My cholesterol had been running between 225 and 200. The doctor had put me on pravastatin, statin, which if you've done any research on statins deplete your body of CoQ10. And CoQ10 is a very important factor in eliminating waste from the cells in your brain, right? And so taking a statin kind of concerned me with the Alzheimer's and the dementia. So when the doctor looks at me and my cholesterol level is at 180 and he says, Wes, you don't need this anymore, I'm jumping, right? I'm excited because I no longer have to take any medication. And I don't care who you are or what medication. Some of it I know is needed, and that's fine. But if there's anything I can do to prevent me from having to ever take medication, by golly, I'm all for it, because it's a synthetic, guys. It's not natural. It's not intended for us to take, right? So that's where I stand on this product. And if I can figure out how to get this thing on to where I can pull Vikki on here, I'm going to bring Vikki on. Maybe if I like her comment. Vikki, I ain't figured out how to get you on here. There it is. Maybe that'll work. Hang with me real tight. I got Vikki on. Vikki is watching right now. And if I can figure out how to get her on our live, I thought I was prepared, right? There we go. I've invited her, so she should be coming on here real soon. I sent out an invite, Vikki. I hope I did that right. And you can join in. Guys, while we're waiting on Vikki to join in, if you would, down in the comment box, I know most of you that I see popping up here, if you'd put in, type in the comment box where you're watching from, I'd really appreciate it. I'd like to see where this video goes to. Vikki, I sent an invite to you, and for some reason that's not coming up. Saying you don't see it. Let's try it again. Approve. Okay, I got it. Should be coming on here. She should be popping on the screen here in a minute. Vikki is from Dayton, Ohio. She went to Colonel White High School, if you've ever heard of that.
There we are.
Let me tell you, Vikki, we met on Facebook probably about a month and a half ago.
Yes.
I seen her on a Facebook Live, and I seen her story, and like I said, it brought tears to my eyes, and I'm bringing her on so she can share her story. Her story about Las Vegas, guys, it'll tear you up, and I'm hoping this touches somebody. I'm hoping it'll be a solution to somebody's problem. Vikki,
Thanks for joining us from Dallas, Texas, Miss Vikki Hoke.
That's right.
All
Hey,
yours.
Wes.
Hey,
Thank you so much for having me. I get excited every time I tell my story because experiences. So I'm so excited. I'm gonna try to move these comments out of the way. Hang on a second. Let me see. Okay. Okay. Well, we'll just have to deal with it. Well, wow. My name is Vikki Hoke, and I am 56 years old. I live in Dallas, Texas. Currently, found out through connecting with Wes that we are from the same area in Ohio. He knows the high school I went to, Colonel White, and he's from Bell Fountain. I'm from Dayton, Ohio. I grew up there. So, yay us. But in any
cool.
event, yeah, that was amazing to find that out. And we have so many similarities. We're kind of close in age and all that good stuff. But, it's amazing that this thing called the natural health revolution brought us together this many years late in our life. Wow. Wow. My story
How long you been
is
using?
a lengthy, huh?
How
I'm
long have
sorry.
you been taking? How long have you been using Moringa oleifera? And then I'll shut up.
Oh, that's okay. I've been on the product probably 13 months. Let me see, May 7th, going on 14 months. I started April 7th of 2017. My story is such that it starts with really kind of all of my life, my adult life. I've had weight issues, going up and down, being on this weight. I've tried the Atkins. I've tried, from the time I was in my early 20s, I've gone up and down on my weight. And as you know, or may not know, or those that might know, when you go up and down in your weight, it affects your health overall. It brings on, you drop weight, especially when you lose a lot of weight. So I'll start in 2012. No, 2002, sorry. My brother, who was just 40 years old, passed away from obesity. My brother was about 450 pounds. He had struggled with his weight all of his adult life. Um, he lived in a society that didn't cater at that time in the late 90s, the early 2000s or what have you. Our society did not cater to obese people in the workplace. So he really couldn't work because he was too large to work in a lot of areas or what have you. He went through many years of no health care. He couldn't afford the health care, so he couldn't work. So if he's that big, just imagine what his health did to him. His health just failed. So when he finally was able to get help, he actually went through the military and got, he had been in the military and he was able to get, health care through them finally. But by that time, Wes, wow, his health was so bad that he ended up being put on about 22 different medications because over the years had come his obesity issues had compounded, and that he needed 22 different prescriptions to combat and bring his life into what he thought was some type of normalcy. My brother lived about another 2 years after being put on the medication. He actually had a condition that was very repairable. Um, the reason my brother passed away was because he was too large to fit on the MRI machine. The military at that time, or the military hospitals, had just received the open MRI, and he had a 6 month wait list to get on that open MRI to find out what was wrong with him. He was having some issues with he said it felt like bombs were exploding in his stomach, in his abdomen. And what happened was is he had his main artery was leaking fluid from his main artery into his abdomen. Very repairable. And also, I might add, it's the same condition that John Ritter passed away from. In any event, my brother was too large to fit on the MRI, so he was waiting on the open MRI. He passed away 3 months into his wait. So it was devastating. He was only 40. So it was devastating. So me being about 13 months younger than him, and also at that time about 300, and I was probably 370 myself. You know, I was distraught. I just kind of went and said, okay, I've got to do something about my weight. I had never considered weight loss surgery at that time. So, but I was willing to do anything to save my life. My brother had just passed away. There is a Facebook photo when I started to get the courage to share my pictures, my before pictures. There's a Facebook photo where I have on blue, powder blue shirt. That was the day of my brother's service. And there was so much pain. There was so much pain and despair in my eyes, because all I could think of was, you know, oh, I'm headed down the same road. So I did have a weight loss surgery later that year. My brother died in January 25th of 2002. And I had weight loss surgery probably, I want to say, August of 2002. Wes, I lost about 75 pounds, but quickly gained it back within about a year or so. So let's fast forward to, 2012. I had gained all of the 75 pounds back. I, had compounded weight issues. I could barely walk 100 feet without getting winded. I was probably, I'm sure, 330, 340, 350 in 2012. So I gained all my weight back, and it was just, I was on a ton of medication. I was on antidepressant. I was on multiple blood pressure medicine. I was on sinus medication. You name it, I was on it. I believe I was on diabetic medication at that time. She was threatening to put me on cholesterol medicine. It was crazy. So at that time, the weight loss surgeries really started to take off across the country, around the world, especially here in Dallas. And I opted to have gastric bypass. My family did not want me to have it. You know, my mom, my stepdad, my daughters, my extended family. But I was desperate again. Here I was, you know, barely able to move. And I saw this weight loss surgery as a way, which I now realize it was just a Band-Aid, but I saw it as a way to try to get this weight off of me. I had no idea that it really wasn't, the answer. But in any event, I went ahead and had the surgery on, I want to say, July 12th of 2012. It was about 6 o'clock in the morning, and I didn't wake up until I woke up 2.5 days later in ICU. And I'm sorry, it just gets me every time I think about the path that I went down, and I was just trying to save my life. I wake up 2 days later, 2.5 days later, in ICU. Didn't know what happened. Saw my mom, my stepdad, and my oldest daughter sitting on the couch in my hotel room, or in my hospital room in ICU. And my doctor comes in, and, you know, I had the sensation like something was being pulled out of my throat. I didn't know what it was. I kept, you know, and I kept trying to gag, and they said they had just taken the ventilator tube out of my throat. So
Wow.
I didn't know that I was on a ventilator. They had just taken me off of it. And anybody that knows, when you are, if you know most people that have had the ventilator tube put in them, a lot of people don't survive that. So I just got really emotional, and I was like, what happened? And my doctor comes in, and he tells me that I almost lost my life, that they almost lost me. I stopped breathing for about 4 minutes. One of the conditions of being overweight is I had sleep apnea. And that's something, Wes, that can impede, that can happen at any time. They're prepared for it most of the time, but sometimes they can't catch it. And they barely caught me not breathing. They was
Wow.
preparing to do something else inside the surgery, and they had left me for about, a few minutes, and I had already stopped breathing when they walked away from me. In any event, that's what happened. And when I learned that I had almost lost my life, I just started crying uncontrollably. I was just
Well, of course.
beside myself. I was like, I was just, oh my God, I wasn't trying. So when my family left, I'm standing in there and I'm just sitting in my in my hospital bed, and I'm just crying. And my doctor, and after he had left and after everybody had left, I'm sitting there and I just started talking to God. I said, God, you know what? I wasn't trying to hurt myself. I was just trying to save my life. I just want to live. I don't want to leave this earth like my brother. We have a history of obesity in our family. And so, I just asked God, I said, I'm not trying to, I wasn't trying to hurt myself. And at that moment, Wes, I have this, I always remember when I was sitting there talking to God and just begging him to save my life, that I know I didn't believe that my purpose, I'm not God, but I didn't believe that my purpose was done on earth yet. I didn't know what it was, but I didn't believe that it was done. So at that moment, I remember, and I was awake, I had a spiritual experience where after I got done talking to God, I saw angels that were, started to walk around my bed counterclockwise. They were of all different nationalities. They were adults. They were different sizes. They were different ages. And they would walk around my bed and they would touch my left foot and my ankle. And they would say, Vikki, all you need to do is trust in God, and it's going to be okay. You just need to believe and trust in God. And as each one passed me about 5 or 6 times, they touched and I promise you, I felt every touch of those angels.
Wow.
I said, okay. I wasn't scared because I actually have had about 5 or 6 spiritual experiences in my life. So I wasn't afraid at all. And I said, okay, all right, God, let's do this. So I knew I was going to be okay at that point. So I went about trying to get healthy, what have you, or what I thought, what society tells us is healthy. So over the course of about a year and a half, I did lose about 100 pounds. However, I will say, was that I might have gotten off of one or two medications. I still had the medication. I still had the fatigue. I still had a lot of the issues that I had when I was overweight, and I just didn't understand what was going on. I'm like, wait a minute. If I'm losing this weight and this surgery was supposed to be the miracle cure, why am I still having all these issues? Why am I'm not really losing a whole. So fast forward about a year and a half, and my biological father passed away. Devastating. He passed away around Christmas 2013. So it's about a year and a half later. And 2014, 2015, I started to gain my weight back, gained all the issues back, getting back on the medication and stuff like that. And people think, oh, well, you had weight loss surgery. How can you gain weight back? Well, weight loss surgery is a Band-Aid. Weight loss surgery does not address the issue of what we now know is nutrition. Weight loss surgery doesn't address nutrition, not the way we think, and we'll get to that later on. But in any event, here we are, 2016, 2017, 17, I gained all my weight back pretty much, and had my issues were compounded. So I had gone to my doctor, and I'm gonna tell you, I used to detest going to my doctors. I used to, I would just be beside myself because I would have to get on the scale. I would have to be read the riot act for letting my health get the way it was, all this stuff. You know what I mean? I went to the doctor, and what she lit into me. She lit into me. She says, Vikki, I don't know what to tell you. Here we are again. She said, you have had 2 weight loss surgeries. You have lost weight, you have gained it back, your weight issues have compounded. You cannot have weight loss surgery again. But your health is getting to the point that if you don't do something about your weight, you're not going to be alive in 2 years, 2 to 5 years. And that hit me like a ton of bricks. I'm sitting there, I felt this small. I felt like I was a child being reprimanded, being put on punishment, being put in prison. I mean, it was horrible. I came home and I'm crying all the way home. And I come and I'm sitting in my office where I am right now. And I just started crying. And I said, I just prayed to God again. Here I was again. I said, God, I don't know what else to do. I don't know what else to do. The weight loss surgery is, I know my purpose is not done on this earth. I don't know what else to do. I need you. I need you to put your hand on my life. I need you to put something in front of me that's going to give me my health and vitality back. Now, I'm going to tell you, Wes, that's something that I realize now, that anytime that I've prayed to lose weight, I always wanted to fit in a pair of jeans. I always wanted to it was cosmetic or material related, okay, or vanity, okay?
Right.
This time it was different. I prayed for my health. I prayed for my vitality. The weight loss did not matter to me. I prayed for my health and my vitality. So that was different. And I'm sitting there crying. And at that moment, I just knew, I felt the sense that it was because I had that epiphany again. I had that spiritual experience that I knew God was talking to me. So I said, okay. And I knew he was listening. So I got on Facebook and I wiped my face. And immediately the first thing that pops up is one of my Facebook friends, Odell Cohen Sr., his Facebook page pops up. And 4 or 5 months prior, he had been periodically trying to put something in front of me or trying to, tell me about something he wanted me to look at. And being that I was, I had a busy work life and was in college full time at that time, I didn't have the time to look at it. But I remembered at that moment that he had wanted to talk to me about something. So I went to his Facebook page and I'm sitting there, and most of the pictures he's drinking this stuff, and he's drinking this like green looks,
Pond water.
the reference, swamp water.
Yes, ma'am.
Oh my God. And I said, what is that stuff he's drinking? It looks like muddy swamp water,
Yep.
and most of the pictures that he had, he was drinking this stuff. So I saw his pictures had quite a few references to the word moringa. Had no idea what it was. And so I went to Google and I went and looked and Googled it, and I saw like 68,000 references to moringa. So I got a little discouraged, but I said, okay, I'm gonna let it go. Because at that point when I looked at it and it had the references to moringa, I didn't know what was real. I didn't know. So I said, okay, I didn't know if it was a fluke, a flam, what have you. So he happened to call me within the next day or so. And I was actually on my way home. And he said, hey, listen, I've been trying to get to you to tell you about, I want you to look at this product that I want you to look at. And I'm like, is that stuff that looks like swamp water? He said, yeah. I said, well, how do I know what you have is good? How do I know that you have is the best? I said, because when I looked on the internet, oh my God, there had to be 60,000 references to Moringa. So I didn't know what was real. So I was skeptical. I was very skeptical of what he was talking to me about. So he was like, he said, oh no. He said, do you have Siri? I said, at the time I had an iPhone. And he said, he was like, no. He said, what I want you to do is ask Siri, excuse me, what is the most nutrient dense plant ever known to science? And I said, say what? What do you want me to do? And so he said, yeah. He said, ask Siri. And then he said, you're going to look for a YouTube video by the Discovery Channel. And he said, I want you to watch that video. Then I want you to call me back. I said, okay. So I go and I look at the video, and you know that it's almost like Arabic music as it starts to play.
Right.
That famous Moringa video. When I saw that, and it opened to this lady in Hawaii in the marketplace, and she was selling Moringa leaves. Wes, I almost fell off my chair, literally, because I had lived in Hawaii in the early 1990s. I was an ex-military wife.
Yeah.
I had seen that tree. I knew that tree. Had no idea that's what it was. A lot of the Filipino families in Hawaii have that tree in their yard if they have a house. And I was floored. When I saw, and this is where I'm going to go make that reference back to nutrition. When I saw what Moringa had in it, the nutrition that it had, the light bulb went off in my head. That's what my body was missing, was nutrition. Not going to eat a salad, not eating beets or eating protein or eating our food source was not the key. It was the nutrition in our food source.
Yep.
It was huge. I had a light bulb moment. I was like, oh my God. And I knew at that time, God was talking to me. I said, okay, all right, I'm ready. I didn't care what it cost me. We know it's very affordable, but at that point, when you are being faced with losing your life, with not seeing your family again, with having the same fate that your brother had, and I will tell you, losing a family member to obesity didn't just happen once. It happened multiple times in my family. I have a cousin. Sam was 500 pounds. She was barely 50, I think. She went into the hospital in 2016 in September. And she went in to have gastric bypass. She didn't make it. She died while recuperating in the hospital.
Wow.
So this is to have this fate, to be faced with the same fate. It gets emotional for me because, it didn't just happen one time. It happened 3 times in my family. Okay. I've lost 3 family members to obesity. Well, directly obesity related issues. So getting back to this particular, when Odell Sr., and I call him my savior, because when Odell Sr. Put this in front of me, and I saw the video, and I also knew, Wes, at that time that it was going to be bigger than me, that it wasn't about saving my life, that it was about taking this on as a ministry, and that God was saving my life. but I was meant to reach out and touch other lives.
There you go,
I knew
girl.
that early on. I knew that early on. So I started on the product April 7th. Now, I've had chronic fatigue, chronic everything, so many. And at the time when my doctor gave me the ultimatum, West, she also threatened to put me, I was on 5 medications. I was on 2 blood pressure medicines. I was on an antidepressant. I was on a water pill. Oh my God. She was threatening to put me on a third blood pressure medicine, put me back on diabetic medicine, and she was going to put me on cholesterol medicine and something else. So I was going to be on 9 or 10 different medications. So when this blessing walked into my life, and God put it in my life, I went at it gung ho. I said, okay, all right, this is it. I began to get rid of things in my life. I had no idea what it was going to cost. But I also knew that part of the ministry was going to be for, me to be a product of the product. Okay. So I started taking the product, and like I said, I had a lot of issues going on. I could barely walk 100 feet without getting winded. I will tell you also, Wes, a lot of people don't know. When I saw my doctor in February of 2017, and she gave me that ultimatum, she was about to approve me to get a handicap sticker.
Oh, wow.
Because I couldn't walk. I couldn't walk. I couldn't fit in stalls. I could only go into the bigger stalls. I mean, it was just, it was horrible. So get back to this. Once I got introduced to this product by Odell Cohen Sr., and to this day, him and his son, which I'll get to my brother here in a minute, but they are 2 of the most special people in my life. They were brought into my life by God, and I thank God for them. And it opened up a whole door for every, this whole movement or what have you. So back to the product. I started on it. Inside of a week, my chronic fatigue was almost gone. My headaches, I had headaches every single morning. Wes, those big bottles of acetaminophen that are like that, 500 count? Yeah. I could go through that in about a month and a half. I was taking them every day. Every single day when I woke up with a headache every single day. I have the same bottle that I've had for probably almost a year. I don't need it anymore. Wow. So in the first month, I lost about 25 pounds. I noticed I could walk. I noticed my headaches were gone. I noticed my fatigue was gone. My appetite, the biggest thing about Moringa is that I didn't change what I ate. I didn't change the way I eat, but Moringa helps you to make better choices. Where I used to sit and gorge on a gallon of ice cream and it would be gone in the evening, I have not had ice cream in over a year. My body doesn't want it. I get sick if I eat it. You know what I mean? I don't eat fried foods. There's a lot of things, but gradually I didn't change anything, but Moringa helped me to move away from what was. So Doreen Peterson in the food prep program has this thing, good, better, best. So I try to follow that principle when I'm eating or when I make the choice to eat. And so if I eat something, I try to think if it's good, better, or best for me. And if it's bad for me, I just don't touch it. I don't do sweets. Where I used to be a prolific sweet eater. I used to be a prolific artificial sweetener. My life has just changed over, I want to say, so I lost 25 pounds in about a month. maybe another in 6 months, I had dropped about 50 pounds. So I was dropping about 25 pounds, every 3 months or something like that. Um, I want to say,
Where are
wow,
you at
towards the
now?
end of the,
I'm
hmm?
sorry, to interrupt. Where are you now? Where you've been 13 months, and what have you lost total?
13 months, I am down actually 107 pounds. 107 pounds. And I will tell you, weight loss surgery did not do for me what Moringa oleifera has done for me. Weight loss surgery, let's go back to that thing called nutrition, okay? Because Moringa oleifera has 92 different vitamins, minerals, antioxidants, amino acids. Our brand of Moringa uses all parts of the tree. It's just an amazing, because my body is getting an oil change every single day. My body is able to self-correct and self-heal every single day. Wes, I am on just one blood pressure medicine
That's
and a
unbelievable.
baby aspirin because I'm 56.
That's
You
awesome.
know?
Do me a favor. I heard your story about you just recently went to Las Vegas, and
Yes.
your story about the airplane. Now, most of us, unless we're obese or we've had that issue, and I said try to find a nice way to say that, but it's just plain and
Yeah.
simple. The inhibitions and the feelings you had when you boarded that airplane to go to Vegas, since now you've lost 100 pounds. I mean, I'm sure.
Wow.
Can you
That
share
that
that?
that was an amazing. I tell you, Wes, I was nervous, but I was excited because I knew in my mind that my body was much smaller. And I will say, before I say all that, when I dropped 107 pounds. I've gone from a size 24, 26 in women's, and I'm in about a 14, 16. I'm actually going down, so the 16s are getting big for me.
Holy cow.
But in any event, I went to Vegas last month. It was a birthday present from my baby sister and free trip. And so I went for the weekend, and I was nervous getting on the plane because I had to face reality on some things in my past. Being overweight. Being overweight, I didn't like to fly. I rarely flew because I was always terrified that they were going to ask me to pay for another seat
That's
because I was too big.
you say that, and
I was terrified.
coming from my vantage point and a lot of other people, we take those things for granted.
Take it
I
for
never think
granted.
twice
Take it
about
for
that. Walking down the aisle,
Wes,
right?
and I would walk down the aisle sideways because I couldn't walk straight. I would bump into everybody and I couldn't fit. So to get on an airplane and to be able to walk down the aisle normally, and everybody that knows Spirit Airlines, their seats are micro tiny. So their seats are small. So to get on an airline going to Vegas, get on an airplane, and not have to ask for a seatbelt extender and not spill over into the aisle of your neighbor, your flight neighbor, and to be able to cross your legs and to be able to have the table to come down and not be on top of your stomach. Uh, it was, I started crying
Oh yeah.
because that's something that people take. A lot of people, and I take things for granted that, I take walking for granted for those that can't walk. We take things for granted. It's not the fault of those that take it for granted. It's just that when you are faced with something like this, and my sister is sitting there going, she's sitting next to me. She said, "Oh my God, you still got seat left."
That's
you
awesome.
know,
But the thing is,
it
like,
was amazing.
This
Huh?
is like a milestone. I mean, it really is, right? It's a milestone. It's
It
gotta
was
be.
a huge milestone. And then also I figured out something else, Wes, and that's that I used to get so sick at takeoffs. I would literally almost pass out and have heart palpitations on the plane because of the sensation of being on all that medication, of being overweight, and da 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 da
Right.
da. I had a freaking blast on that flight.
That's
I didn't
awesome.
go
And
to
I hope you
sleep.
brought
And oh,
something
oh,
home.
well, yeah, I did. But also, hold on. I also was able, this is something I never did. I never did on a flight is go to the bathroom on a plane. I never could fit in there. Couldn't fit in there.
That's incredible.
I went every chance I got, even if I didn't have to go.
So, Vicky, now, for me, in my experience, I exercise on a regular basis, but
Yeah.
I know a
Mhm.
lot of people that have been using the moringa that lost weight and they don't work out. They don't exercise. I mean, do you
I,
work out?
I don't, I don't do the traditional workout, going to the gym. No, but I do. I wear a smartwatch. I walk. I make it a point of walking 2 miles a day.
So just normal
But my
routine
build,
thing, right?
huh?
Just normal routine, nothing out of the
Yeah,
ordinary.
just normal walking. But I make sure my steps are set. I'm trying to build back up to 10,000, but I'm going to be doing that soon because I signed up for my first 5K
Holy
in
cow.
September. So, yes.
Good for you.
Wait
You
a
can have
minute.
that.
Yes, and also I man, there's so many different things that we take. But let me get back to Vegas real quick. So, when I was able to get on the plane, another um I actually took another trip the following weekend. So I for like 3 weeks I was in airplanes,
Oh, wow.
and I'm just excited to get on them. You know what I mean? But it's an amazing thing. So it's something that I'm actually even planning in an overseas trip. I just see that my Facebook friend, she actually is from the UK. Her name is Katie. Hey Katie, she
I
actually
can.
just joined. She's been a Facebook friend for many years. So I actually am planning to take a trip to the UK, and she will be one of the people that I want to visit. I've never wanted to take an overseas trip because of the length, because of the fact that I couldn't fit in the seat. And I'm gonna tell you, Wes, I've actually been on the plane. My heart goes out to the last plane that I was on. Um, there was a gentleman that was in first class, and he was even spilling over in that seat. And my heart went out to him because I knew exactly what he went through. But to have my health delivered back to me in the form of this whole food, and that's exactly what it is. It is a whole food that cannot be found anywhere else in the world, that's going to give you every vitamin and every nutrient that science says that the human DNA needs on a daily basis. We get it in our proprietary blend of moringa. For me, my regimen, the products that I take the moringa. Now, I started out with the moringa oleifera. I was doing the X and Burn, which is your fat burner and appetite suppressant. And one thing that I learned about it is that there are three things you need when if you're looking to release weight. You've got to have nutrition, you've got to have fat burning and appetite suppressant, and then you need to also have detoxification. Now, people say, oh, well, I've had people go and get the off-brand detox and off-brand whatever, and
Yeah, you
come
can
and
find
ask
it
me,
on Amazon, but you don't know what you're going to
huh?
get. You can find a lot of
You
that
don't know
stuff
what
on
you're gonna
Amazon,
get.
but you don't know what you're going to
Exactly. Exactly. So for me, it was that's kind of my regimen of what I take. But there have been so many different, oh my God, so many different aha moments, so many different, I can people who can cross their legs. And I mean, a heavy person can't cross their legs at the thigh. they have to cross it at the ankle, and it's even uncomfortable at that point. I can cross my legs at any time in any type of clothing that I put on, jeans or what have you. Um, I went down two shoe sizes, two shoe sizes. You know, my doctor, my last visit was about 3 weeks ago. My doctor says, and she's Indian, so she's very familiar with the moringa. But you know, as I know, a lot of those of Indian descent, they boil the leaves, and that's pretty much it. You know, they do the leaves, and that's it. But they, you know, it's like in Africa where it's prevalent. A lot of these countries just boil the leaves, so they still get a good benefit from it, but they don't get the benefit from the whole tree like we do. So she went next door. Well, after I had my 3 month, and she told me I was down 107, and she said, I'm just amazed. She says, she says, girl, you hopped up on that table like you was 20 years old. So she said, I'm just amazed. She said, you don't have any waterway. She said, you have ankles. I'm just amazed. She said, do you mind if my colleague in the next office next door, if I bring him in to meet you? I said, no. So she had one of her assistant to go and get the doctor, and he's like a ear, nose, and throat guy, but he came on in, and she said, this lady has been on moringa, but she gets her moringa. Her moringa is much stronger, much stronger. And she said, but she's been on it for over a year, and she's lost so much weight. She's da 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 da. You know, she was just amazing. He was sitting there like, wow. So they've actually referred some people to me to enlighten, and you know, so for me, you know, I wanted to also do this as a business, but the business is tied to the ministry. So it's not, you know, it's not more so about the money. It's really about reaching out and touching that life, because I know, and I know that I have, go ahead. I'm sorry.
The product's so incredible, but what we fight in trying to share it with people is the skepticism, because the product is shared word, you know, how do you want to say it?
Word of mouth.
Person to person, word of mouth, and it's not. There's not $1 million ad campaign putting it out in the newspaper or putting it on the shelves. And I think if we back up and look at the fact that the reason why we're able to do and get the quality of product we have is because the company that we represent doesn't use that money to advertise. They use it on their product.
Right.
They got what they got. So.
Exactly. So it's been an amazing, oh, wow. It's been an amazing journey for me, and it just continues to evolve. And, you know, but I will shout out, you know, the two people that are definitely so special to me, and that's Odell Cohen Sr. You know, I thank God for not letting him lose sight of putting that in front of me, because had he not, I wouldn't be here telling the story. I don't know where, I couldn't even imagine where I would be. I tell you, Wes, the person that I was just 14 shy months ago is a lifetime ago. It's a lifetime ago. I see, you know, people tell me all the time, you have such a joy in your eyes now. There is no sadness in your eyes anymore. You have love. You have vibrancy. I see all of this. You just get up and go. I don't even like working from home that much anymore, because it confines me to the house. I'm like, I got to get up and get out and go do stuff.
I can say, all right, I think my wife's watching. Lisa, you're watching, but wouldn't you agree? Look at the shine that Vicki's got, the glow that she's got. She's 56 years old. And
yeah.
Where are the wrinkles, girlfriend? There ain't none. Right? You look great. You look great.
Thank you so much. And you know, I just want to thank you. I want to really shout out Odell Cohen Sr. For bringing the product in front of me, and for not giving up. And waiting on me to have the time to speak to him about it. And, you know, I love him to death for that. And my brother, my sensei, who taught me the business side of this, because, you know, without him, I wouldn't be still on this journey, you know. So those two guys, I told them they ain't getting rid of me. You know? So, but
Vicky,
yeah,
thank
but,
you.
and you know, all of this, Wes, all of this, it comes full circle because, you know, you and I are from the same, really,
Neck
neighboring
of the woods, right?
communities in the same
Yeah.
state. Yeah, yeah. And we're about the same age. So we met through this beautiful thing called the Natural Health Revolution that's tied to Marengo LaFera. So I thank God for that. I thank God for you. I thank God for Kiwi. I thank God for everybody, you know, that we have been blessed to touch and
Amen.
be a part
Excellent.
of, you know. But I
Mike,
thank you. I thank
thank
you.
you for coming on, and we probably ought to wind this down, right? Um,
Yes.
but you're living proof of what Moringa can do
Yes.
if somebody's willing
Yes.
to use it consistently and invest in
Yes.
themselves, right? I mean, it's
Mhm.
granted, it's probably whatever. What do you think's affordable when it comes to your health? What do you think is affordable when it comes to my health? Anything is affordable if it's going to do something to
And
prevent loss.
I would like to interject if I may. You know, a lot of people say, oh, you know, oh, it costs too much. Oh, I wish I could afford this. Oh, da 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 da, this, that, and the other. When your doctor tells you you're not going to be here in 2 years
Yep.
if you don't do something about your health, I didn't care if it cost $1 million. I was getting it.
Amen.
So it did. You know, when you're faced with mortality, when you're faced with your life ending, and it's because of your health, you find a way. And I found a way. And I pray every day that God continues to lead the path, to allow me to have my products, but more importantly, allow me to be the beacon of knowledge and health, and that He allows us to continue to touch people like we are now. So
I like
thank
that.
you.
I like that. Vicky, thank you. I hope you have a great weekend. Memorial Day. You're off Monday, I hope. So you got an extra
I
day off.
am. I'm off today. Yeah. So I got a 4-day weekend and I'm chilling.
Good old me. It's Memorial Day weekend. I'm on call. So no, I'm not off.
Oh,
off
well, hey, we're still blessed. You're still blessed.
That's right.
Thank
Well,
you, Wes. Thank
thank everybody
you.
for checking in, and thank you,
Thank
Vicky.
you.
Talk again soon. And
Thank you.
if you're interested, and you want some information on Moringa Affair, feel free to drop
Yes,
something in the comment box, and we'll hook you up with the information. Not a
we
sales
sure
call,
will.
guys. So we'll just give you the
All
information
right.
so you can find the answers. So thanks, Vicky. Everybody have a great
All
weekend.
right.
Enjoy the
Thank
holiday.
you, Les.
Thank you.
Bye bye.
Bye-bye.